Welcome back to the JKR Podcast. Today we have the number 5 player in Indiana for the 2024 class. We got Indiana commit, Mooresville shortstop and pitcher. We got Hogan Denny on the show. Hogan, super pumped to get you on the show, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing good, man. So one question I always like to start off with everybody I get on the show is, for those who don't know you, how would you introduce yourself? Who exactly is Hogan Denny?
So I am Hogan Denny. I'm a 16-year-old kid from Mooresville, Indiana. I just like to think of myself as an easygoing kid, a teenager, like to do fun things with my friends and my family, and I love the game of baseball.
All right. So let's talk about baseball. Let's dig into that real quick. Let's just talk about your recruiting process. So obviously you're a sophomore now. You're already committed to IU, a top Big Ten baseball program. So when did that recruiting process start for you, and who were some of those teams that were involved initially?
So my recruiting process for me started going into my freshman year. I was at an Indiana Bulls showcase we did for the organization. And after I got throwing down the second, on the way home, my coach called my dad, and he actually told me that I needed to call the head coach of Purdue, which is kind of funny that they were my first phone call. And I talked to him and just getting used to what it's like talking to a college coach, because it's different. It's a pretty cool experience. Just getting to know what they were interested in, what I needed to know from the coach. And it really just kicked off the recruiting process for me. Once that happened, it was a little bit before I started talking to other people. And then I ended up talking to one of the coaches from Pittsburgh. That was my second phone call to a coach. And then after that, there was a couple other schools who started calling, and I had phone calls with IU a lot, which really caught my attention with Coach Mercer. He seemed very interested in me on a personal level and outside of baseball, which I found interesting. And other than that, I mean, the recruiting process went well for me, and I enjoyed every second of it.
Yeah. So that initial conversation with Purdue, when exactly was that?
It was the summer going into my freshman year.
Okay, so that was really early. So
Yes.
when you were on the phone call with the Purdue's head coach, what were some of those questions he was asking? Just what was that initial conversation like, and what was going through your head as you're on the phone with a head baseball coach for a Big Ten program for the first time?
Going through my head, I was just so excited, man. I couldn't believe it. The fact that basically my dreams were coming true of getting the chance to play college baseball and continue my athletic career. It was just crazy. I was sitting next to my dad, and I was just so excited. I mean, like, I could tell the hard work was paying off. And some of the things that he was asking me was really not at first. The first call, it wasn't too much about like anything about Purdue. It was just getting to know me a little bit. And I mean, like I said, though, it was pretty cool. It was really exciting.
Yeah. So after that first call, did you receive an offer then from Purdue, or how long was it until you started receiving offers from Purdue and then Pitt and some of those other schools?
So I started receiving offers the fall of my sophomore year. So this year, the fall, during football season, that's when I got my first offer from Cincinnati. And then after that, that's when IU offered me. And I was talking to other schools, but those two were my only two offers. But I was communicating with about 7 other schools.
Okay. So obviously you had those 2 offers, and you did decide to go to Indiana, only 45 minutes away from home. So what was the reasoning? What stood out at Indiana to make you choose them so early on in the process?
The one thing that stood out to me mainly was the coaching staff with Coach Mercer, Coach Simmons, the main two people I was talking to. I feel like I connected to them personally outside of baseball. They were more of my friend throughout the process, giving me advice about not just IU, but like how to communicate and what to look for in colleges. And then the fact of playing for the state that I grew up in kind of hit the personal level. And it just was really exciting to represent the state of Indiana and the state I grew up in.
Yeah. So beforehand, before you actually committed there to now to where you already committed, how is that relationship with Coach Mercer, Simmons, some of those other IU coaches? How has their relationship evolved these past couple months since committing?
It's evolved where I can just go down there to a game and just walk up at the end of the dugout after the game and just talk to them. Win or loss, they are always friendly to me and just connected in a friendly, personal level. I mean, they're just great.
Yeah. So do you have any other relationships with players in your class or even players in other classes that are committed there already as well?
Oh yeah, I have plenty of relationships. They're all great people. I mean, very talented kids. I'm really excited to when I get there. IU is going to be a top program in the country.
Yeah. I mean, look at the freshman class this year. I mean, look what Matheson, Pine, Tibbetts, look what they did. I mean, you've got a stud incoming freshman class this upcoming year. I mean, the 23-24 class already is pretty loaded. So, I mean, me as a student and me as just a baseball fan in general, I'm pretty excited to see what Mercer and the coaches have in store these next couple of years. But let's transition a little bit to travel ball. So, obviously, you play for the Canes right now. But you mentioned earlier that it was an Indiana Bulls workout that you were a part of. So did you play for the Bulls before you played for the Canes?
Yes, I played for the Bulls for 6 years. And then this will be my second year playing for the Canes.
Okay. So how did you first get connected with the Midwest Canes?
My brother, one of my younger brothers, he played for the Canes for the past couple of years now. And my coach ended up for the Bulls. My head coach for the Bulls ended up moving organizations to the Canes, and I just felt comfortable with him. I mean, he's a great coach, and I decided to take the time and take the summer to go play for him with the Canes.
Okay. So he was the 24 coach for the Bulls, and then became the 24 coach for the Canes.
Yeah.
Okay. So your almost your whole entire travel ball career has been either with the Bulls or the Canes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So have you gotten to play in any like legit? I mean, I know the Canes and the Bulls both go down to like the WWBA, but has there been any other big time tournaments that you've been able to play in with those teams?
For the Bulls, my 12-year-old year, we went to Cooperstown, and believe it or not, we ended up winning it out of all those teams. So that was probably the highlight of my summer ball career.
Yeah. So besides that Cooperstown tournament, what are some other things that just looking at your just your travel ball experience so far? Obviously, you still have 2 more seasons of it, but what are some things that stick out? Some of your favorite things that come to mind when you're just thinking about travel ball so far?
This summer and the past summers, just spending time with my teammates in hotels and on trips, honestly, is the highlight of it all. I mean, playing with your friends and playing baseball is always so fun, and taking trips with family to different states, going to different places. I mean, travel ball has really opened up a lot of opportunities to spend time with family and friends, which is just great.
Yeah. So what's the outlook on this upcoming travel ball season? You guys got most of your tournaments already scheduled. You guys plan on going some big places this summer?
Yeah, we're looking to go to Alabama. We're going to Hoover, and then we're going to Lake Point, and then going to Georgia again for the WWBA. Our schedule, it's legit. I mean, we go to the best tournaments we can and play the best competition to try to get some of my teammates exposure to colleges and exposure to the next level in the pros. I mean, our coach does a good job of scheduling tournaments that will give us the best exposure possible.
Yeah. So that 24 Canes team, you guys got a lot of guys. Obviously, you're committed to IU. Jack Brown's committed to Louisville. I believe JT Steiner's on that team too, right?
Yeah, he's going to Virginia Tech.
Yeah. Okay. So are there some other guys on that team who are probably in the process of going to some Big Ten, some Power 5 schools?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we got one of my teammates named Tyler Inge. He's committed to Michigan. Then you got Jack and JT, and then even the people that aren't committed, they definitely have the opportunity to go somewhere big. I mean, our talent from top to bottom is legit, and we got a good group of players.
Yeah. I mean, the Canes program, I mean, it's legit. I mean, you guys have legit classes. Every class has a lot of players committed to a lot of big time programs. So just with you being an insider of the program, what do you think's led to all the success that the Canes have had these past couple of years?
I feel like Jay Hunley does a great job trying to find ways to connect with college coaches and build relationships and have coaches go to tournaments where there's exposure. The Canes, I feel like, as an organization, are just a gritty organization that plays baseball hard and plays it the right way. And you got coaches from top to bottom, from the oldest age group to the youngest age group, who teach the players the fundamentals and the right way to play the game and play hard and do what you can to have your dream come true of playing baseball at the next level.
Yeah. So for the most part, I mean, for players who are playing in the state of Indiana, most of them either go play for the Canes or the Bulls. So do you get in tournaments, are the Canes and Bulls, have you guys pretty much scored up against each other sometimes?
Whenever I played for the Bulls, we definitely squared up with the Canes a couple of times, but last year we were in the same tournament, so we definitely had the chances to, because both organizations look to play the top level of teams in competition, but hopefully this year we get to meet them in bracket play.
Yeah. So if you do get up to playing up against the Bulls this summer, who are some guys you're looking forward to facing? Obviously, they've got Nash, they've got Braden Thomas, one of your future IU teammates. Who are some guys you're looking forward to facing off in the box and even on the mound?
Like you said, they got Braden, man. I'd love to face him hitting wise, because I could always hold it against him if I got a hit off him, or he could always hold it against me. So, I mean, just a little friendly competition. That would be great to face him off the mound. I'd like to face Nash too, because Nash is a good pitcher. He's got a lot of projectability. He's going to Alabama SEC school. I mean, their pitching staff from top to bottom is great. So, I mean, honestly, getting hit off of any one of them would be a good accomplish for me. And pitching wise, hopefully I pitch a little bit for the Canes. I'm usually catching and playing infield. So, I mean, if I get the chance to pitch against any one of them, I'm going to do my best to get them out.
Yeah. So usually when you're playing for the Canes, you're mostly a position player. You're usually on the mound just for the high school season.
Yeah, usually for the Canes, because for the high school season, so my main position is catcher. So that's what I'm going to IU for. I'll catch, and then on like days I'm not, I'll play the infield. So for summer ball, it's more of like getting used to that, catching and then playing infield, because we got like POs on our team and got guys who all they do is just pitch. So, I mean, that's how it is for travel ball.
Yeah. So going back to just facing off against some of your former Bulls teammates, if that doesn't happen this summer, I might have an opportunity for you to do some live AB work with those guys. So I'm working on this Battle of Indiana, where I'm getting the top prospects from the state. So I've got Max Clark, Matt Santana for the Bulls as well. Braden Thomas, of course, working with a couple other guys. I'm trying to get a list of like maybe 15, 20 guys, top prospects, facing off against each other, do some little YouTube content, get you guys a little bit more exposure out there on the social media world. But
that definitely sounds like, yeah, I'd definitely be interested in that, man.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll make sure to keep you in mind. You were on my list of guys I wanted to get there, but just haven't had the chance to talk to you yet. So let's move into the high school season a little bit. So you play for your dad. So what's it like with your dad as the head coach in the dugout with you there every game?
So my dad, playing for him and having him on the coaching staff throughout my career has been mixed emotions, definitely, because whenever I'm playing, I'm just like, sometimes I get upset with him, but I mean, I just have to realize, and I truly do thank him, because he sure knows a lot, and he's helped me get to where I am now. And playing for him is just really fun and really cool. And then playing for my head coach, Eric McGaya, they're two good friends. They both know and love the game of baseball. They love giving back and spreading their knowledge and what they've learned. I mean, just playing for them and playing for my dad is something special and something really cool.
Yeah. So does your dad help out for the Canes as well in the summertime?
Yeah, he does.
Okay. So how's this high school baseball season been going so far? Obviously, I know when I talked to you last, you guys were 16-0. How's this past couple of weeks been since I've talked to you? And with sectionals coming up this week, what's the outlook on that?
So, as you said, we were 16-0. We ended up losing twice. So, I mean, I know we want the perfect season, but I mean, I feel like we needed the taste of losing in our mouths before getting into the playoff and sectional time. I definitely feel like throughout the season we surprised a lot of people, and honestly, kind of surprised myself a little bit. But I can't be proud enough of what we've accomplished and what we've done. We still have a lot more left to prove, and the job's not done. And going into sectionals, we have one of the hardest sectionals in the state, if not the hardest sectional in the state. We got two top teams. We got Max's team with Franklin, and then we got a heavy loaded hitting team with Center Grove. And we're just looking to take one game at a time, one pitch at a time to find a way to win. And I feel like truly if we win our sectional, we have a really good shot to go far in the tournament.
Yeah. So Franklin's in there, Center Grove's in there. I know you played Franklin in the regular season. Do you get to play Center Grove in the regular season as well?
We did not. We did not play them in the regular season. So our first time we'll be playing them in the sectional.
Okay. So obviously playing in Central, playing in a little bit Central Indiana, Southern Indiana, you're playing some good teams. Obviously Franklin with Max Clark there. They got Jace Fowler, a couple other guys. Who are probably some of the toughest pitchers that you've faced in the box so far this year?
This year, probably I haven't faced Max this year. He hasn't pitched against us yet, but definitely last year he was one of the hardest pitchers to face. We faced a pretty decent pitcher from Carmel. I'm not sure what his name is, but Carmel definitely had a good pitching staff. Last year, as a freshman, I faced Garrett Harker, who's went to Cincinnati and pitches for them there. He's probably the hardest pitcher I've faced, definitely in my early high school career.
So out of all your, just looking back, look at your Bulls teammates, your Canes teammates, your high school teammates this season, who are probably some of the guys that you think in your mind has flown underneath the radar just in terms of their college recruiting? Maybe they're not getting as many accolades in the high school season. Who are some of those guys who've maybe flown underneath the radar?
The main guy to me that comes to mind when you ask that question is Noah Coy. He's a dog, man. I mean, he plays hard. He plays tough. He plays the game right. He plays for Center Grove, so I definitely hope we get the chance to play him, which would be fun. And he's a guy that I just feel like he has a good future. He definitely has a chance to play the game at the next level. It would honestly be pretty cool if he ended up going to IU, which I would hope that he had the opportunity to do that. I'm not sure, but he's definitely a guy who I think can get the looks that he deserves.
Yeah, and he's class of 2024 as well?
Yes, he is. He's in my grade.
All right. So now that you've played your freshman year, your sophomore year, technically you're still an underclassman in terms of the high school ranks. So what's tougher for you personally? Playing up against high schoolers who are 17, 18 years old, they got beards, they're going to college next year, or you're facing up guys who are like the elite prospects of your age group? What would you say is tougher, and what's the differences between them?
I'd probably say summer ball and playing guys that are the top level in my age group is just a little bit more difficult because, I mean, you got guys from all over the country. I mean, Indiana's a talented level of baseball, I feel like. I feel like might be one of the most underrated states that gets looked upon in baseball. We got great talent, a lot of people going places from Indiana. But I have to say that probably facing high level guys in my class during the summer is a little bit more difficult because you got guys in my grade who are throwing mid to upper 90s, which is crazy nowadays how fast people are throwing and how often and how popular it is for a guy to throw mid 90s at a young age. So I'd have to probably say that.
Okay. So you talk about mid 90s. When you're on the mound or even when you're behind the plate, what are some numbers that you've been clocked in at?
On the mound, I'm upper 80s. I'd say, yeah, about upper 80s. This is the last time I got clocked at. And then behind the mound, behind the plate, throwing down to second, I've been high 70s to low 80s. I'm trying to get my arm stronger back behind the plate. I definitely feel like my arm strength has been something that has caught the interest of college coaches. So that's just one thing I focus on, having a strong arm.
Yeah. So during this past regular season, have you played behind the plate much? Because I know both games I went to, you were playing shortstop. So in the regular season, high school season, are you mostly playing the infield?
Yeah, in high school I play shortstop. I've caught a couple games, but nothing like too serious. Like not against a big type of school like a Center Grove. Like we haven't done that. I play shortstop mainly, and like our conference games, I'm always at short. Our catcher we got for the high school, he does a great job. It's not like we're missing out behind the plate when I play short. He does a great job. So yeah, I play shortstop mainly throughout the season for high school.
Yeah. So you're a catcher, you're a shortstop, just basically infield or anywhere they could probably place you, and a pitcher. So what is the plan for college? Are you planning on just being a position player, catcher, infielder, or is there a possibility that you might pitch at the next level?
I'm not sure about pitching. If they asked me to do it, I'd definitely be interested in it. Pitching is honestly one of the probably the most fun things you can do playing baseball because it's you against the guy in the box. It's just the challenging of another guy. Pitching is definitely a fun position to play. But as of right now, I'm definitely going to be catching and playing infield at IU.
Okay. So when you're on the mound, what's your pitching repertoire? What are you throwing?
I throw a fastball, a curveball, a slider, and a changeup, and then I also throw a fastball from 3/4.
Okay. So what would you say is probably your best pitch, and then maybe the couple pitches, or the pitch that probably might need the most work?
Definitely my curveball is my best pitch. That's my go-to out pitch. Definitely, I have a lot of confidence in throwing my curveball at any count, in any situation. Probably my fastball is one that personally I want to get better on, throwing it like harder and getting more arm strength on the mound. So those are probably the two pitches that I have success in and want to work on.
Okay. So when you're in the batter's box, you're walking up to the plate. What's going through your mind? What's kind of your hitting approach, and what are you trying to do with each at bat?
Each at bat, I'm just trying to find a way on, no matter what it is or how I get on. My approach is be aggressive early, hunt a fastball, hunt a mistake. Early on in the count, the first pitch is probably the best pitch you're going to get. So I'm always looking to attack early and be aggressive and do a lot of damage and hit the ball as far as I can hit it.
Yeah. So each game that I've been to, obviously I'm watching you. The game I was at, I watched Max Clark as well, just because you guys obviously stand out on the field. So when you're walking up to the plate, I see that you write something in the dirt with your bat. So what are you writing in the dirt with your bat? What is that?
I write OR in the dirt.
Okay, so is there a reasoning behind that?
Yeah, it's actually, believe it or not, it's just my girlfriend's initials. But I messed around and I did it one day, and then it worked and had success. So I guess she must just be good luck.
Right, of course. If it brings you good luck, why stop doing it?
I guess I know. I got to continue to do it.
Yeah, I was in the stands. I was like, man, I was looking for HD or 1-2 or something. I was like, what the hell is that? Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. If you're doing it for your girlfriend, if it's working out for you, why stop? Works perfect.
Yes.
But so you've got 2 years left before you head to Bloomington. Go ahead, play for Coach Mercer. What are probably some of the biggest things you're wanting to work on before you head to Bloomington?
Before I head to Bloomington, probably the biggest thing I want to work on is just continue to get better in my game. Just every little thing. I want to try to be perfect in the things that some people don't find necessary to work on. I'm always trying to do the little things and just to polish my game and try to get the attention of people from pro teams and just get the opportunity to make my game the best it can be all around and have all the tools I can have. So before I go to Bloomington, I definitely just want to make my game as flawless as it can be.
Yeah. So if you're a scout watching your game, what would be your personal scouting report on yourself?
Oh, if I was a scout, I would definitely see it myself as a hard playing guy. I take the game. I don't take it for granted. I definitely try to play as hard as I can play. I try to be a leader. I try to build teammates up, have everybody have high intensity, high energy, just trying to have as much fun as I can have and have my teammates have fun playing the game. So definitely like a hard working type of guy who builds the energy up of my teammates.
Yeah. So when you're looking at the next level of baseball, obviously there's the college baseball, you're going to IU, minor league baseball, Indiana's got the Indianapolis Indians, a couple guys up north, and then Major League Baseball. Are you watching Major League Baseball quite a bit, and who would be your team that you like to follow?
So growing up, my dad's favorite team was the Yankees. So I'm a New York Yankees type of guy. I love rooting for the bad guys. I mean, the villains of the league. They're definitely playing great baseball right now. So, I mean, I always like watching baseball in general. So, but if I had to pick a team, it would definitely be the Yankees.
Okay. So is there a guy that you're watching on TV now that you maybe like to model your game after?
Definitely a couple people. I like the way that Francisco Lindor fields. I definitely work on my defensive side from him, and my hitting sides. I love the way Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just rakes. I mean, definitely two people that I like to see my game and base my game off of.
Yeah. So let's move on from the baseball field a little bit. We've been talking about baseball now for about a half hour. Let's move on. Let's talk about some passions that you like to do beyond the baseball field. So when you're not playing baseball, what are some things that you like to be doing?
I'd love just messing around with my brothers and playing around with them. They're younger. They're getting to the age where I'm going to have a freshman brother next year, and I'm going to have another brother that's going to be a seventh grader. So I definitely just try to have as much fun as I can with them before they start getting where they don't want to play around anymore. Because, I mean, growing up with them it's been fun. I definitely like hanging out with my friends, going bowling, just enjoying what the weather that God's gave us. I mean, watching sunsets, seeing horses, just doing as much fun things as I can as a teenager.
So you talk about that bowling alley, talk about a movie theater. I know when I was driving through Mooresville, it was kind of a small town, much like mine, and my hometown really doesn't have much things to do. So when you're trying to have something fun and more, when you're just trying to have fun in general, are you staying in Mooresville, or do you have to travel quite a bit to go do those fun type of things like bowling and going to see the movies?
Seeing movies, you can see some movies in Mooresville, but I mean, any other extra activities that you really want to do, you usually travel outside of the town of Mooresville to do any fun indoor activities. But I mean, Mooresville is the town that there's definitely a lot of things to do that involve just being with nature. I mean, going on hikes at the park, just watching sunsets, going on drives are always fun. I mean, so there's definitely some things to do in Mooresville, but usually a lot of extra things that you want to do, you usually have to travel.
Yeah. All right, Hogan, I got one last question for you. So I'm just myself being an aspiring agent. I'm pretty big on NIL, the new regulations that came out last year where college athletes can make money off of endorsements, their marketing, branding, stuff like that. Pretty cool. I'm working with a couple guys at football team, stuff like that. So it just excites me to see athletes doing something like endorsement-wise, branding. So when you get to IU and you get to Bloomington in the fall of 24, are there some brands that you could possibly be working with, like that you'd like to work with? Have you thought about that at all, or is your mind mostly focused on baseball at this point?
I mean, my mind's mainly focused on baseball, but I'm open to the fact of having an opportunity to do that. I mean, a dream of mine would be to have the chance to work with somebody that would give me the opportunity to have my own glove. That I feel like that'd be really cool and really special. But I mean, mainly my mind's focused on baseball because I'm at a younger age where I'm just trying to get there and get that opportunity to have other people interested in partnering up with me. So my mind's mainly focused on baseball right now, but I'm definitely open to any opportunity.
Yeah. All right. Well, Hogan, that's all I got for you. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I love your game. Watch you a couple games now in person. I'm hoping to come see you play some travel ball, maybe at Grand Park this summer. Just super excited to see you come to Bloomington. Super excited to see how your career evolves these next couple of years. It was great meeting you. Great getting to know you a little bit. And I just appreciate coming on the show, man.
All right. Thank you for having me. And I can't thank God enough for giving me an opportunity to play the game I love. So thank you again. And I'll definitely keep in touch with you, man. Thank you. Best of luck.